Once upon a time, this was the world's biggest construction site. Now this city testifies to a nation's endless ambitions.
You've guessed it, I'm in Shanghai, and behind me is the Pearl Tower that looks like a spaceship that's about to burst through the heavens and head to Mars. Architecture in Shanghai has gone through a remarkable transformation over the years through its own economic prosperity. I'm on a journey to see how Shanghainese architecture has adapted to the Shanghainese culture of diversity and a strong entrepreneurial spirit.
And I'm in for some surprises, for this city is where buildings not only grow straight up, but also spread out and embrace new innovations in architectural design.
Wow.
I'm Jason Pomeroy, an eco-architect and urban planner, and I'm passionate about cities. This season, I'm travelling to a series of great cities and finding out how old and modern architecture give each destination its special character. As China's main financial centre, Shanghai always drives forward and upward. Especially in Pudong. Located on the east bank of the Huangpu River, this is a financial district of high-rises and skyscrapers. But Pudong hasn't always looked like this. Less than 30 years ago, this was farmland. Groundbreaking change came when Deng Xiaoping, the visionary leader behind China's economic reforms, stood here and declared the area a special economic zone. And the Pudong New Zone was born in 1993.
The Shanghainese skyline is almost a pictorial story of its evolution. You've got the Pearl Tower that's almost space age-like. You've got this corporate tower that has Corinthian columns that almost borders on something Western. And then all of a sudden you've got the plethora of tall buildings that are almost kind of jostling for attention, trying to kind of stretch upwards and outwards to kind of show its own majesty. And then all of a sudden Shanghai wants to find its global voice. And here we have the new landmark skyline for Shanghai.
This intersection declares loudly China's arrival as an economic powerhouse. All three skyscrapers here have been China's tallest at different times. The newest tall building here is the Shanghai Tower. At 632 meters, the Shanghai Tower will be second only to the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. But its construction is not finished yet. So for now, China's tallest building is this, the Shanghai World Financial Center. But let's go back in time to look at this one. Jinmao Tower, China's first super tall building. Work started on Jinmao Tower in 1994 upon creation of the Pudong Economic Zone. The building was to showcase Shanghai's potential as an international financial center. Completed in 1999, Jinmao stood 420.5 meters tall and for 8 years was China's tallest structure. Can you guess where this first Chinese super skyscraper got its look? I'll give you a clue. Look at the gentle setbacks, the recesses as the tower soars. The pagoda inspired Jinmao Tower, making it arguably the most Chinese in form. Even its pinnacle resembles a lotus blossom. But why? Why does Jinmao Tower look so Chinese? To get the inside story, I met up with architect Dr. Zhang Xingjiang. As a project leader, Dr. Zhang worked closely with Jinmao Tower's lead architect, Adrian Smith.
Adrian Smith thought it's very important to relate the Jinmao building to the culture and the character of Chinese and his people. The ancient pagoda, one of the precursorers of the man-made skyscraper, symbolized the center of gathering within the villages and the cities throughout ancient China.
It was always a cultural meeting point. Yeah.
As such, the analogy will be the fitting to this building.
And it's a wonderful beacon for the world as well, to actually allow Shanghai to be seen as a new financial center.
Yes.
You've also got a beautiful blend between old and new. Just look at this entrance. The Moon Gate, stainless steel, glass, modern materials, but referencing to a historical point in time. And I think it's been done beautifully.
Understated Chinese elements grace the interior. And is it a coincidence that mainland China's first true skyscraper rises 88 stories? In Chinese, the word 8 sounds like get rich. No number is luckier.
The chief designer, he thinks 2 buildings on the site. 150 building of office and another 38 building of hotel will be better. And after all,
2 buildings.
yeah, and it will be cheaper and also constructed much faster. But their response from the client, they had to be an 88-story tall buildings because Deng Xiaoping was 88 when he stood on the site and declared there would be another new center of financial and developed zone of China. And also to be rich was glorious.
To revel in the glory of Jinmao Tower, there is one place to go.
Wow.
The 5-star Grand Hyatt Hotel occupies the skyscraper's uppermost 38 stories. Rounded balconies accentuate this dramatic space. But drama does not come cheap.
The atrium could have very easily been filled in with leasable or sellable floors. Instead, you've got a minimal amount of rooms that are positioned at the perimeter to create a donut effect of hotel rooms, which means that you don't actually have too many of these rooms to be able to lease, making it very exclusive, and therefore one can charge a premium. Maybe this is actually reflective also of the Shanghainese culture. It certainly takes a particular creative spirit to be able to shape spaces like this and a keen entrepreneurial eye. If you think about Deng Xiaoping's economic reform of China, all of a sudden Shanghai is centre stage. The world is looking onto you. So you better have an architectural statement that talks a bit about the tradition and culture of China. But with success, with growing economic prosperity, does that mean that all buildings need to look Chinese? Do all buildings need to represent the Chinese culture?
I'm in Shanghai, the center of business and finance in China. This landscape enthralls countless visitors. But what is it like to live through this megacity's pulsating changes? I'm on my way to talk to a Shanghai native, born and bred.
Hi, Jason.
Chen Chen,
Yes.
how are you?
Hi.
Han Chen Chen is only 36, but he's seen Shanghai undergo a world of change.
Brilliant. We need to get...
He's also a fan of Shanghainese architecture.
So Chen Chen, why are we meeting here?
I will show you the landmark in Shanghai.
Okay.
So, what do you think about the landmark in New York,
Empire State Building,
in Paris,
Eiffel Tower,
and how about in Shanghai?
Shanghai Tower.
Is this building?
This one? Why was it the landmark in Shanghai?
这栋大楼是国际饭店，落成于1934年。它的总楼层有24层楼那么高，然后总的高度是83米。从1934年到1980年代，它一直是上海最高的高层。
Wow,
Yes.
that is remarkable. Up until the 1980s,
Yes.
this was the tallest building?
Yes. 我们小时候都听过一个故事，有关国际饭店，就是当游客路过这栋大楼的时候，他们的帽子一定会掉。你知道为什么？
have no idea.
因为这栋大楼实在是太高太显眼了，游客路过的时候，他必定会抬头看，然后抬头看的时候，帽子就掉了。
I think we take it for granted that there have been tall buildings in Shanghai for a long, long time, but for this to hold the record as the tallest building up until then, that is remarkable. Is it one of your favourites?
是的，在我小时候，它是我最喜爱的建筑。
While Chen Chen may have grown up years ago, Shanghai never stopped growing. His hometown's meteoric rise and the architecture that mirrors it thrilled him and many of his neighbours.
随着这些大楼越造越多，然后在我们这个城市里也有这样一个群体，是喜爱和关注摩天楼的。大家通过网络来分享照片、交流心得。那然后你看到那个 SWFC 了没有？ 然后我记得网络上有这样一个帖子，从这幢房子的坑基的开挖，一直到它落成，整个经历了6到7年时间，整个帖子就一直追啊，然后我们像追明星的小粉丝一样，看着这幢楼，追着这幢楼，一点点长大。
And who would not be proud of those soaring symbols of power and prestige?
That's the Grand Hyatt, isn't it?
But pride doesn't exclude a local joke or two about these skyscrapers.
There's a funny story about this being like kitchen utensils, these 3 buildings.
Yes, you know, the first one is this one, Jingmao Tower, is like a stick.
A skewer where you put meat on it.
Yes. And the second one.
That's easy. That's a bottle opener.
Yes. And what do you think about this?
That one?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. I don't know about this. No.
Yeah. Do you think it's like a whisk?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We could do some cooking here.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of the jokes. It's time to explore another heavyweight in Shanghai's architectural league. The Shanghai World Financial Center. 492 metres tall, 101 floors. Finished in 2008, the centre outreached Jinmao Tower to be China's tallest. But those are statistics. I want to talk elegance. The design manages to be both simple and stunningly complex. The floor plans transition from a boxy base to a rectangular middle to a slender diagonal upper section.
What we have is a square footprint that is ideal for office layouts, giving an ease of movement for office furniture. But that square footprint then transitions into a rectangle, which is ideal for hotel rooms to get a wonderful view out over the city skyline. And that rectangle then transitions further into slender floor plates for the observation deck. You could be moving around at the ground level and see this tower almost seem to twist. That gives this tower an incredible dynamism.
I'm starting at the top, at the observation deck. The design even transforms an elevator ride into an experience. An ear-popping journey to excitement. Welcome to the world's highest observation deck. Where we hover 474 metres up on the 100th floor of the Shanghai World Financial Center. So much polish, so much finish, and yet the rise of the Shanghai World Financial Center had to pause several times. The 1997 Asian financial crisis, the 2001 September 11 terror attacks. Again and again, world events pushed back the finishing date. But this is Shanghai, and here ambition and ingenuity rule. Eventually, the centre debuted in style, and even ended up taller than planned.
I can't help but feel that the entrepreneurial spirit of the Shanghainese even sort of manifests itself up in the observation deck. I mean, look, you can actually find pens in the shape of the Shanghai World Financial Center. What this demonstrates is that once you've got all of those tourists up onto the 100th floor to get a view out to the city, it's not just about going up and getting a view, it's about celebrating the experience.
Today's skyscrapers offer more than just prestige. They need identities. The Shanghai World Financial Center calls itself a city within a city. It houses offices, retail, hotels, and an observation deck. Stacking these one on top of the other makes sense when land is pricey in this part of Shanghai. But just when I thought the only way for Shanghai was to go up, I'm in for a surprise. This city can make an architectural statement even without skyscrapers. From farmland to this. Shanghai Pudong's special economic zone has evolved amazingly in 22 years. But it's not Shanghai's only enterprise enclave. West of the old downtown is Hongqiao, the other business district. The Hongqiao Economic and Technological Development Zone was one of China's earliest.
China's opening and its economic reform saw the potential for many foreign companies seeking direct foreign investment here in economic zones like this in Hongqiao. You'll need high-end residential for the expatriates to live. You've got hotels and convention centres. You've even got corporate office buildings. You've even got large retail malls that feature all of the latest high-end brands.
When economic reform came in the 1980s, Hongqiao was already a major transportation hub. The district has Asia's largest railway station and Shanghai Hongqiao International Airport. The airport's presence explains why the zone's buildings hunker instead of standing tall. But is a low profile why Hongqiao feels, well, kind of worn out? Most of these developments are only about 3 decades old, but already look a bit tired. When an economic zone can't count on height to make those statements, what can one do? Well, it can trade altitude for attitude. Sky Soho is home to a mix of office and retail space. Completed in 2014, Sky Soho is designed by world-renowned architect Zaha Hadid. This is leading-edge design, but at a low rise. It's a world of difference from skyscraping Pudong. To know why, I'm meeting Jenny from Sky Soho's management team.
When I was in Pudong, what we see is the sort of skyscraping developments that are kind of high density, but here it feels like a ground scraping development.
Because this site is just near the airport.
Okay.
So the flights may just cross this site, so have the limited height restriction. The highest point of this building cannot be exceeded 45 meters.
Buildings don't move, but these ones seem to. Inspired by the nearby railway station, the buildings suggest futuristic trains.
Wow. You know, it does feel incredibly expansive. It feels very generous, you know? These 2 curvilinear buildings that seem to be hugging this open space. And what I love is the fact that it's been punctuated with green pockets of trees and shrubs, and that helps reduce the temperatures. It also makes it feel cooler, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sky Soho is a catalogue of surprises. It speaks of the site's limitations, but also to design innovation. Does it also say something about Shanghai's aspirations as China's heart of business?
So Jenny, now I can see these 4 buildings being interconnected by these sky bridges, and it still feels incredibly open. But how does that actually work with the Shanghainese people and their culture?
We Shanghainese are very proud of this high culture. High culture actually it comes from Shanghai, the traditional Chinese culture, but mixing with the main point from the West, open activity and creativity, tolerance and diversity.
So there you have it. Tall is only one way to evoke identity. A human-scale, low-rise, high-density building can make just as strong a statement of character. I'm almost done with my journey of understanding this incredible metropolis through its architecture. There's so much more to see, but there may not be enough time to see all that dynamic Shanghai can offer.
Thanks, Marcus. Thanks, Hilda. So you're probably thinking I've got a bit of a big appetite, but I'm going to use these ingredients to try and explain the evolution of the city. If you imagine the traditional city being low-rise and made up of different functions, different ingredients, if you will, residential, retail, office, hotel, even bits of open green space, parks and recreation areas. What we find in the traditional city is that it was actually quite sprawling. Over time, with urbanisation, densification, population increase, those plots of land were getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and the flavours that we find on the ground need to start being vertically stacked. But is that really the answer for Shanghai and many a global city? What do I mean by that? The city of the future is a hybrid of low-rise, high-rise, and even super high-rise. If you think about Shanghai World Financial Centre being 474 metres, we're going to be looking at structures that may go even taller, up to 1,000 metres in height. And those elements will need to be sitting with other elements within the city and potentially even linked by bridges, sky courts and sky gardens to try and create this hybrid city. Shanghai is a remarkable economic success story, only mirrored by its architecture, whether low-rise, high-rise or super high-rise. And for me, I believe that the 21st century hybrid city is already taking place here.